What up, everybody? It's Friday, December 21st, so let's talk PlayStation. So with it being so close to Christmas and it being a really slow news week, since most of the industry people and developers and all these people that have lives, they're going to visit families and all that, and it's kind of a really slow news week. Not much really happened. Didn't really want to talk about any of that. Kind of consider the fact maybe we should take this time for this episode to talk about some of our favorite games of 2012. So let's kick it off with two games that I felt were a little underappreciated this year: Starhawk and Twisted Metal. And if you don't remember, Twisted Metal did come out this year. It's crazy that it came out in 2012, right in the very Q1. So it's like you always kind of forget those games. And Starhawk too, you kind of forget about games like that. But it's like, man, Starhawk and Twisted Metal really went under the radar, and it was really sad that those games did not sell as well as they should have. But as long as we're talking multiplayer here, we got to bring up Borderlands 2, another fantastic game by Gearbox. Of course, that game is doing really well, and it's a good thing for Gearbox, because Borderlands 2 was really awesome this time around. I mean, it was so convenient that right from the start menu, you could just jump right into another buddy's world and start going on, leveling up your class and everything. It's got all those elements to a really fantastic multiplayer experience. I know a lot of people, including myself, really addicted to that game. I think one thing that's really important to touch on this 2012 is that PlayStation Network, man, it really almost was better than, pretty much it was better than retail this year. If you guys have been noticing these PlayStation Network games throughout 2012, we had a lot of awesome killer games this year. I mean, not only did we get Mass Effect 1 on the PlayStation Network, which is, a game that of course has existed for years, but it's great that it's on PSN, but you've got games like The Unfinished Swan, you got Journey going on, you got, of course, Telltale's The Walking Dead. That game's been doing fantastic. People are loving that game, the episodic content and all that, and putting all of them together made for a really enticing story with all these choices that, granted, they didn't really give you, like, the choices in The Walking Dead series, it didn't necessarily amount to anything, but it still put such a heavy workload on the game, the gamer emotionally, and that's what I love about most video games, is when you really get that emotional feel out of it. And you got Clementine and all that. If you've played The Walking Dead, you know what I'm talking about. That game is really good. So of course, one big thing throughout 2012 was PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. I mean, we've been seeing everything about the game up until the final release, from leaks and hopes and hoping the game's going to be this and hoping the game's going to be that, to finally having it in our hands. And I'm happy to say I'm totally proud of the game. I thought it was awesome. It's a great, exactly what they were going for, basically. I mean, it looks exactly like Smash Brothers, but in its own right, it is its own thing, and it plays much more differently than it. And that's kind of what I wanted out of PlayStation All Stars. And I still play it every now and again. It's one of those great games, even if you're on your Vita, because it's like the Vita's so fast, you can just jump in and out a couple matches, have some fun, beat some dudes up, and just, all around, the cool, of course, having all the PlayStation characters all together. It was a great idea. There's also a topic that I want to cover, Mass Effect 3, of course. Big game for 2012. And for me in Mass Effect, I was never, like, too big on Mass Effect. It was one of those Xbox games where I was like, if it comes to PlayStation, I'm going to give it a try, of course, because it's such a huge game, because I never really played my Xbox that much. And then Mass Effect 2 came over, and, I bought it, of course, and I played a lot of it, and I beat the game completely. I got the Platinum Trophy in it, and it was good, but, like, I certainly didn't agree with all the praise Mass Effect was getting. And then Mass Effect 3 came out, and I was like, it's Mass Effect 3, yeah, I'm going to give it a shot. I like 2. And I actually didn't finish 3. I could not get through it. It was like too much of Mass Effect. Like, Mass Effect 2 was enough. And my problem with Mass Effect was always, like, the gameplay. Like, I love the narrative, I love talking to people and making choices, and I love the characters. But as soon as, like, I started, like, getting on the field and I started shooting dudes and stuff, I was like, this is so boring. This sucks. Like, I hated the gameplay of Mass Effect. So, like, for Mass Effect 3, for me at least, not that high up there for 2012, for me at least. I just wasn't that pumped. I didn't even finish it. I still gotta go back. That's even if I do decide to go back to the game. And of course, 2012 saw the release of PlayStation Vita. We got Vitas in our hands. We're using them. We had a lot of great games for Vita. I mean, people are saying, like, there's not good games for Vita right now. It's just because they were, like, so spread apart. Like, the launch had so many great games right off the bat, from Uncharted, Luminous, Hot Shots, to Mutant Blob's Attack, to Escape Plan. Like a fantastic launch. And then, it was like a little, and then it was like a little empty until we started getting games like Persona, Dakuro, Knit Underground, which just came out, Night Underground, Knit, however you want to pronounce it. I'm actually reviewing that soon. Of course, the biggest bummers for Vita this year, of course, was Resistance Burning Skies and Black Ops Declassified, which from the same developer. It's, you know, it sucks for the developer because they were forced to put out 2 games so quickly, and that ultimately is why those games just didn't do as well as they did. I mean, all around, I think 2012 was a great year for PlayStation 3. It was a really great year for PlayStation Vita. And, you know, going into 2013, of course, Vita isn't looking, you know, so great. There's not many announcements just yet. And PS3's got a lot of great stuff still coming up. Beyond Two Souls, of course, The Last of Us. But, you know, we're getting close to, like, the next generation. And even though we may not be ready for it, because I could live with PS3 for another 2-3 years, I really could. But the next generation is coming up, so we gotta look forward to that. So, what were your guys' favorite games of 2012? Please let me know, and let's talk about it in the comments below. And the second trophy of the week, really old school one. It's from Pain, if you guys remember the PSN game Pain, where you're shooting a dude and off a catapult, and he's like bashing himself into things. The trophy is Dick's Harder's Balls. Offhand, I think that was the trophy, and of course, funny trophy name, even funnier trophy symbol. But the trophy requirement was to get all the sports things on the billboard. You had to knock them off and then get them into a trash can all the way to the end of the level. And that trophy was so hard, and I spent like 3 hours trying to get it, and it was like super difficult. I'm proud to say that I have that trophy because it is difficult and pretty funny. But I will see you guys after the holidays. I'm Ryan Benecki. Thank you for talking with me, and I will see you next Friday.